We're going to talk about what you should do as a new content creator in order for your channel to be successful. Now, it's not going to be what you probably thinking. I'm not going to go on and tell you about all the different techniques that you can do to your channel to increase views or stuff like that. It's not. Because really, YouTube is not based behind that. And this is more so geared to what it really takes in order to make it work because of you, right? So I would say this. If you're looking for someone that's going to tell you to hit this button and do this or do this to your channel to make your channel somehow blow up, well, this is not that video. And if you want to go to those videos, then by all means, I would say go ahead, research it and see does it work. It's just a whole bunch of fluff, y'all. They're just telling y'all something to give you something that you think you can do on your own. But what most content creators, when they're teaching how YouTube work, don't really stress or talk about is what it really takes to be successful. And that's what I'm going to show you here. So if you really want to know the truth, stick around on this video to the end. I'm going to really give you what it takes to be successful. All right. Now, what you will see me do is I wrote all this down. These are my words. This is not something that is regurgitated or anything. In fact, as I'm telling these, I'm going through the steps. I'm going to show you different stories that I am related to, so I can relate this information to you to resonate with you. Okay? It's not something I've heard or anything. This is what I've done on my own since I've been on this channel and what I have done over the years in my own business career. Because for those that may not know who I am a mother of five kids. It would have been six. One did was never born here, on this side of Earth. So I lost a child. But I was a single mom for the most part of my kids growing up. And I'm sharing this story because I want you to know who you're talking to. And so, therefore, I struggled a lot. I struggled a lot, but what I did not ever like to do was find myself on getting or being reliant on government assistance. I never liked that. I felt like if I was able-bodied to do something, then I would do so. So I was always driven because of our either our own personal situation or because of my children to try to find a better life for ourselves. Now that came with a lot of lashback because a lot of my family, I'm sure their heart was in the right spot. Would often at times tell me, you got too many kids. You don't need to worry about that. You just need to find you, go get on Section 8, go get a government house and just live. No, because one thing that always scared me was I had four girls for the majority of my childbearing years. Um, I say childbearing, I can still have kids, but girls I ain't have no more. Okay, but for my childbearing years, I had four girls, and I never wanted to put that in their head that you need to get on some type of government assistance because they saw their mom live on government assistance. So baby, would get it from the mud or figure out a way to do it on my own or be out here dealing with people at their jobs before I would say I'm just finna automatically go do that. And that was what I've always said to anybody that came to me, and they agreed with it, and some was like, "Girl, you crazy? You're just struggling unnecessarily." Who's to say I wasn't gonna struggle if I did do what you said? We don't know what that outcome was gonna be, but what I did know was I never wanted to put that in my children's mind that it was okay to go with this. Do not, because being in the hood or the ghetto, it ain't so much about where you living. It's about what's up in here. And a lot of people live in nice houses, but their mind is still stuck in the hood or in the ghetto. They're ghetto minded. They can't get past certain things. And that was something that I was never going to do to my girls because one, I was always scared that they were either, I'm a single mom. I don't know, without them having a father figure always around. Would they have children too early, or would they fall victim of this? And I would always see what other families were going through, even with two-parent homes. So that was a big fear of mine when it came to my children. I didn't want them that. I don't even want them in that situation. So I was going to try whatever I could to make sure they didn't have to experience that. And for a lot of their years, they saw their mama and they was like, my mama was that girl. She had multiple jobs, she had careers, she had 3 and 4 cars. We stayed in the best neighborhoods, but that came with a price. That came with a price. Now, the wiser me will know that maybe some of the things I was trying to show them so that way they wouldn't feel like they had to be in that situation. I might have could have did it just a little bit differently. And I'm not even saying that get on government assistance. No, if I was a little more financial literate than what I was at that time, I could have did things a little better. And all that came from mindset. It all came from how I thought, the mentality that I had. But God created me, the person that He created me as. So I am and have always been the researcher, the one that did, the one that looked. My dad always said, my dad always said to me when I was younger, he called me, girl, you be figuring out some stuff. Like I be sitting there looking, trying to figure out. I want to hear what she got to say on here. I want her take on this. I want to see what she say about this, because that was always who I was and who I still am. So personally, that is my core, right? And you will often hear me say on my videos, when getting into this business or this industry, you better really know who you are before you jump onto the social media platform of marketing and sales. Because if you don't, it will alter who you are. So I said all that before I started getting into the lesson here. So that way you can get a clearer picture for who I am and why I am more so driven about the stuff that I'm so driven and passionate about. Because it is really a lot of people's downfall and failure has absolutely nothing about, maybe some of it might be the processes that they're used, but the majority of it is their mindset, is how they're looking at things, how they're perceiving stuff, and not taking the appropriate actions because they're being misled and entertained by a whole bunch of lies. So I'm going to jump into how it is, what you need to do. Now, I'm going to hit on 6 key things this go round, but I will make other videos going more in depth on how to make it work for you. Because what I've shown y'all so far is what I'm doing and what I'm implementing, and and how I learned the system, and what how I learned the system up until this point. But I will tell you another thing that I have learned so far in these 4 days that I have been monetized, that it's a whole different world once you get to the monetization part. So the things that people are telling you about monetization, a lot of it ain't even first true, y'all. I'm just gonna be outright. I'm just gonna tell y'all that it is not what y'all are thinking. And a lot of people are using marketing strategies and techniques to basically lie to you and give you information. But anywho, let's go ahead and jump into this lesson. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, and I am reading from what I wrote, my words, no one else's. Um, the first thing you should do as a new content creator when you get into this platform first is to ask yourself, do you really want to work for free while reaching your goals? And be real with yourself. Be so real with yourself when it comes to that first step. Okay. The first thing you need to do is to realistically say, am I willing to get on this platform without being compensated at all? Okay. Because there's going to be a journey. This is going to be a mad journey. Um, and most people, the averages are the averages, the percentages are the percentage. 98% of people that get on this platform will not be successful. It is only 2% that will really truly be successful. Well, I say that kind of lightly because, once again, success is different for different people, right? But if we're looking for overall success, then I will go back to those statistics. 98% of the people will fail with doing this. And that's because 98% of the people ain't coming into this with the realistic mindset. So if you're going to do this, then have that first thing in embedded in your core. I'm going to be doing a lot of this for free. All right. And so, are you willing to invest the time that it's going to take in order to get this off the ground without being compensated, other than the knowledge and the relationships that you will build within this platform while you're working towards monetization? Now, that in itself can be priceless because the knowledge was what is going to take you to different levels, and the people, the relationships that you build is what you need and is what is going to help encourage you on this journey. So even though you're not being paid monetary like money, all right, you are being paid far more than money can give you. People put wealth and value wealth on money. Wealth is not money. Wealth is your knowledge. Wealth is your relationships. Wealth is your endurance. That's true wealth. It's more defined of the character of the person than their dollar signs. Okay. So a lot of stuff that y'all are looking at as wealth is vague. It's vain. It does not matter. Okay. So not to say you don't need money. I don't want people to come in and you'll see a lot of times I do both angles on it because I know how people take stuff and they run with it. Money is necessary to survive. But as Auntie Mickey had said on one of my posts, and this is not her saying because it's been going on for the ages, they're going to quickly find out that money ain't everything. All money ain't good money. All right. So but that comes with wisdom and understanding. But that very first thing, y'all better be ready to work for free, right? And find your wealth and your value in other things in order to be able to keep pushing. Number two, the second thing, if you said yes to number one, are you willing to wait the necessary time in order to achieve your goals? That is so spot on because one, you're not getting paid. And two, it's realistically probably going to take you months or years to even hit the monetization part because there's so many moving parts in this that you have to have lined up in order for it to work for you. So you have to one be willing to accept number one, and then number two, you have to be willing to go the long run. You got to pay the long game, not this quick, short, fast microwave stuff that everybody trying to hurry up and have. YouTube is on easy mode. They're paying everybody scenario. They're lying to you. They're not paying everybody. And even for the ones that are getting monetized, they're not getting paid the way you're thinking they're getting paid. And a lot of it is being doctored up. Okay. So don't be getting dragged in to the foolishness or the buffoonery. Okay. Um, and people are selling you stuff, and because they're selling you the hype, they now have to live up to the hype that they're selling you, and they're putting themselves in debt. They're putting themselves in even worse positions because if it falls off and don't work for them or continue on getting the little extra that they do, they're now going to be in even worse position because they done took on all this extra debt. Let me tell y'all something. Let me give you a nugget that Dave Ramsey had pointed out when I started watching him. Debt, when it comes to personal debt, is only that the borrower is a slave to the lender. You will always be working for whoever hold that debt over your head. So you better be very careful on the debt that you take on. If it's unnecessary, don't take it. Right? Cash is king. So don't be fooled. These people around here getting themselves into debt to try to impress people who they say they don't even care about them. So if they don't care about you, then why are you putting yourself in these situations to make yourself seem like something that you're not? And then you have to spend more money to keep it up. Don't fall into it. It's all a trap, y'all. It is all a trap. All right. And I'm gonna dig into it a little deeper as to why YouTube don't do stuff to people that are doing this. Because it's all about marketing and sales. I'm being real. This video is getting ready to open your eyes upon a lot of things that you probably was allowing to just shoot straight over your head. Because uh you're being blinded by a lot of stuff. Um, and some people probably be willing to allow themselves to be blinded. Right. So the number two thing is you have to be more realistic with the time frame that it's going to take for you to accomplish whatever goal or whatever success that you're trying to get out of YouTube. Even with myself, with the 3 month turnaround time when I finally got serious, the only reason was because I was finally halted and I wasn't so much boggled down with the day-to-day life of my business, my own life situation, and everything else. I was put in a position where I was helping someone, but it put me in a position where I was at a standstill. And so I utilized that time to make it work for me. And the researcher in me allowed me to pick up a lot of this stuff quickly and apply it to myself and try to help others as I was going along the way. But realistically, even with myself, in order for me to tell somebody to do that realistically, they have to be in the same situation that I was in. And I wasn't working. Remember, I'm self-employed, but during that time, I wasn't working because I'm helping my family out. So I'm not working at the time. I'm dedicating all my time outside of helping whoever I'm helping to YouTube. My kids are grown, so I don't have children I have to try to stand behind. I'm helping my child, but for the majority of part, 24 out of the day is mine. And so I could dedicate myself to learning this. And that's why I'm trying to help so many people because I know a lot of people do not have this kind of time in order to be successful. So I'm getting this information out to you to try to help you get what you need a little bit faster if you can grasp what I'm saying. And I do realize a lot of people will see this, and most it will go over their head. They won't understand it, even with me saying it as plain as day as I'm saying it, because this is what a lot of people are gatekeeping over you. It's not what button to push or whatever. It's what YouTube is really centered around that you have to understand to apply this stuff on the limited time that you have in order to make it work for you. Then, with your knowledge and understanding, you can better help your channel to be successful in less time. Now, that's why I say information that you're giving out to the public you shouldn't put a charge on that and let because you have to do that anyway unless you're doing more of one-on-one, then it becomes a little bit more okay. I can understand why you're charging people for this information, or even if you want to say, well, I can compile it all up in one spot. Okay, but make the prices realistic as to what you're really giving them versus trying to kill people pockets in a time where a lot of people are struggling economically right across the board. Okay? So time has to be something that you have to be a little bit more realistic too, because there's only a small percentage that jump in here. Soon as they jump in, they get monetized. Soon as they get monetized, their channels take off. It's so few people that happen to. Number three, if you said yes to number two, you have to search yourself and figure out why the reason that why you got to figure out your why, the reason that will keep your commitment to starting. You have to keep the same passion no matter where you are in your journey so that you will not give up. Learn to work through your plunge. So yesterday I made a video about the plunge, and I was basically redefining what that word means and applying it to I'm about to say Uber, and applying it to YouTube in order to make it work for you. But number four is a big key once you get, I'm sorry, number three is a big key once you get past the first two of being honest with yourself and being able to dedicate the time. Number three is knowing your why as to why you're doing it. That why has to be so strong within you that no matter what obstacles come your way, or what defeat you think you might have hit, or what plateau you must have ran into, that why has to be the driving force of you continuing on and you want to press forward. Like before, my why was my children. And so that was my drive. That was the drive that kept me going. That was the drive that wanted me to do better. As my kids started growing up, my why was still my kids, but now it has to be more about, because my kids are living their own separate lives. They're building what they're building. Now it had to be more about what is the true reason of who I am. What is the defining thing of me, of who I am? And so it was almost like, let me reintroduce myself. Let me refigure this thing out, because my why is now worrying about their why, right? Okay, so now I got to figure out what is my why now. I mean, some people probably look at it as empty nester syndrome. You know, all your kids are grown, you ain't got nobody to watch after, to look after, to drive you, to push you. You have to figure out now, what is your why? What is my why now? The 50-year-old Tamara, what is her drive now? And I had to really look inside myself to figure out what was really driving me the whole time. It was really just trying to look out and help people. Like when I was getting in a majority of my fights, it wasn't even about me, because either you liked me or you didn't, and I really didn't care one way or the other. Right? It was more so about me trying to defend somebody else. I got into a lot of fights for somebody else that wasn't even my own. When I looked at law and I wanted to do law because I wanted to fight for those people. I wanted to help those people that was wrong. So my passion has always been having the truth, knowing the truth, doing right by people. That has always been my passion. One thing I had to learn though, my passion, I can't make my passion someone else. No, like I can't look at other people and say that they will be me. You got to look for you, not look for, you can't look for people to be you. You are you. You are unique and you are who you are. But that was my passion. My passion is to help others. And so, regardless of what I'm into or what I'm talking about on this platform, it is all driven by my passion to help others, right? Now, I finally realized why God made me as stern as I am, because see, with me, I'm not an emotional type person. I care, but I'm not emotional. So it's kind of like I show my emotions in different ways. Like a lot of people have picked up on this. Like my facial expression tells it all. I'm not a poker player, okay? I might not, cry or whatever. I might look, but my face is going to tell you what I'm thinking, okay? That's probably one of the things where I cannot control, But when it comes to the emotional side of me, like it takes a lot to break through that barrier. I'm just who I am. And I feel like God designed me perfectly that way because He has me on a mission to help others. And you're going to have a thick skin when doing that, because a lot of people will come at you, right? And if you aren't built for that, it will break you down. And so I look at who I am now as this is the way God intended for me to be. It was never meant to be figured out. It was meant to be embraced, because for He could utilize me. So when you are going through this journey, discover what your why is, and that will always keep you motivated. Go watch that video I made yesterday about the plunge, and it'll show you how to push through whatever obstacles that you're going through. Okay, number four. Once you get number three, you need to learn the system that you are about to partake in. I would strongly suggest you do this while building your platform. Apply what you are learning while learning things more in depth yourself. Okay. Now, this one is a real one. Like, even Warren Buffett, the one of the richest men. I ain't gonna say he is the richest man, but he is one of the richest men alive still. Talks about this when it comes to investing. And investing is making money. And investing is also getting into a business. And investing is investing in yourself. You better know whatever it is that you are getting into before you jump cold heartedly into that thing. So that way you can understand what you're doing. My suggestion to you is learn before getting into it, also learn while you're in it, and then apply it to yourself. That's what makes you more knowledgeable. It ain't the numbers, how many subscribers you have that make you more knowledgeable. It ain't the viewers that make you more knowledgeable. It's your experience from your life. It ain't necessarily have to be about YouTube because you can apply other business structure to this business. That's why businesses, I don't care what business you're in, the structure of it is pretty much the same way. You just have to learn the details of the business. But you better know the overall picture of what you're in. And regardless of whatever this niche is or whatever y'all planning on doing on this platform is research and sales, and it's going to be split straight down the middle on what how you present that. Is either going to be done on an educational side or an entertainment side, and the best of the best learn how to merge the two. They don't stick from one side to the next. They might entertain you but educating you while they're entertaining you, and you have to know how to make that work. Number five is doing doing number four allows you to make a shift in your mindset. Remember, this is why 98% of the people fail is because of their mind, how they think, how they perceive. At this stage, you will need to develop a business mindset to elevate your platform. Getting to monetization is just the first step. Your platform has to be built on a solid business foundation to promote growth. You have to start this thing off right. That's why you'll hear a lot of YouTubers say they abandoned their first channel and they started another one because now they know how what it takes. And they rather just start over from the beginning than to continue on from where they're at. Me on my thing, I can get the concept of why they would do that, but for me, I would just work through whatever it is on that channel and so you can see my growth. And that helps a person to see where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. That's why I don't believe in deleting stuff. I don't believe in deleting stuff and all that. I don't. Because it's going to show, even if it's a comment and I'm wrong on it, but it just shows you where I was in my mind at that time. And now it shows where I am now because things and people can change. So, um, you have to have that mindset, that business mindset, and that's who I am. I do have a business mindset. But if you're getting into this business, you have to get your mindset structured as this is the business for you. Okay? I'm going to explain something at the end of this that I do that kind of helped me out as well. But I want to get this out as well. I want to get this out first before I focus on that particular thing because I want to show y'all how to make something work for y'all. And some people might look at it in a negative way, but really it's really not. It can really help you grow and it can help you grow a whole lot faster. But we're going to go ahead and dial into number six. So after you shift your mindset and willing to think outside of the box, then the next thing to do is to know what it is you want to do with your platform. Allow that to be what you make your channel about. Not other people, but since people are who we need for subscribers and views, and which lead to materials being pushed into the algorithm and views and watch time hours. Both both of them you will need to make money or and to stay eligible. To be able to make money from your platform, you may want to take this into consideration, what they like more of, so you can offer that a little bit more to them. I love the polls. I love the poll section and community page because it allows you to really know what your viewer wants. I'm one that doesn't believe the whole niche thing. I don't know. I do not believe into that. I'm not one that doesn't believe the whole niche down theory. In fact, YouTube themselves doesn't even promote it. Because it puts you in a narrow box, and chances of really growing from that become slim to none. YouTube is more centered around the psychology of people when it comes to marketing and sales and information. Um, so let's talk about what I just said here. As far as niching down and not really looking at subscribers and numbers and not allowing people to control how you handle your platform. You should never do that. And this is what I was saying I wanted to really talk about when I got into this. Because you should utilize people in order to get the information you need that is going to be helpful to promote your channel. But you should not allow somebody to be the driving force as to how you control your stuff. Now, I honestly think this whole niche down thing is it was started probably by other content creators in order to keep uh, smaller platforms from being able to explode. And over the years, it's just been spoon fed down people's throat, other words, shoved down people's throat for their benefits. Because if you feel like that is something to be geared into, then you're going to, because it's so narrow, you're going to come to me for I can sell you something to show you how it works. I don't think this was, I honestly do not believe this is something YouTube is promoting. This is something other people, just like the whole YouTube is easy thing, um, is promoting it within the system to try to have a system within a system, so to speak, to kind of keep people at different levels from them. Because, and I feel like YouTube allows it because in the end, it benefits them. Because if everybody really knew the truth and they did what really works, then more people would be getting paid. Okay. Now, some people will try to debunk exactly what I just said by saying, um, YouTube ain't trying to hold nobody back and get paid, because if you get paid, if you get paid, that means they're getting paid, right? Well, not technically, okay? Because okay, especially now that I'm on this monetization side and I can kind of see what's really going on, that really will be going over a lot of people's head. And if you ain't been in business where you working closely with numbers and data, you might not be able to see what is actually going on when it comes to that monetization. But I'm gonna make a channel. I'm gonna make a video about that, explaining how to really read what is going on behind the scenes when it comes to monetization. But if you didn't understand that, then you'll just be like, oh, I got to try to niche down because they're paying me such and such for this particular niche. And overall, if all my content is like that, then it's the overall views times the niche. You even heard me say it on the videos because I was going off of what I had researched from listening to others, right? But that's not how this work, y'all. And it's not that's why people can't really explain to you why I keep changing. But I now see, and I love getting on things early, because if you have that mindset to look for these things when you first get onto it, it's easier to see than when you have a whole bunch of other numbers being thrown at you later on in the down the line, and you can't really see the formats or the formula that's going on because it's too much. It's easier to track those numbers when they're smaller versus when they're huge. So Now you're more reliant on people that truly understand to see whether or not they're going to really tell you what is actually going on. So when it comes to listening to people about what you should do and what you shouldn't do, that I would only listen to them if I'm doing it already and they want more of it. But I would not be listening to them because that's what I want my platform to be about for them. Don't ever do that because you're going to find yourself in a situation like those YouTubers I told you back uh just a few minutes earlier. You're going to want to abandon what you're doing and try to start over anew in order to make it work based off of what you think you now know. But what you're going to find out when you get over there to that channel, you're going to be abandoning that one to go jump to something else. No, learn what is really going on in order to benefit you. Now, here's another. This is one of the tricks or tips I want to give you. It's called friendly competition. Friendly competition. And you need to develop this in order to help you grow as you're learning with this YouTube platform. I like to say, and I know people, this ain't me coming up with this because I've heard this strategy when I was in sales before as well. But before I ever knew anything about sales, I was actually doing this mess as a kid. I just wasn't putting it in my head like monetary or to promote or to grow with something. It was a game to me, right? I was literally doing this as a kid, okay? Friendly competition. This is what you need to have into your mind when learning and growing. You need to have someone who is not quite where you are, kind of like underneath where you are, right? Or way underneath. It really don't matter. You can actually take each stage of that and figure out how to make it work. You need someone who is on the same level as you that you're watching, right? And then you need to have somebody who would far surpass what you're doing, right? And the reason why you need to do this is because the one who is at the bottom that's trailing behind you or either far behind you, you need to watch them and you need to watch them greatly. And the reason I say that is because it doesn't have to be a particular person. I myself, I like to give like one, like two or three people that I'm watching in each stage. And so I can get some data. But on the broader things, I look at it as a whole. I'm gearing into this smaller group to learn from, but then what I'm learning from the smaller group, I'm also looking at the masses, right? So the person at the bottom, the reason why you want to look at the person underneath you or ain't quite where you're at is because you want to learn them, study them, see what they're doing, what they're not doing, and then you want to use it for your benefit as to what you don't want to do. Okay, you don't want to do that because whatever they're doing is keeping them stuck where they're at. Okay, so but you can learn from that by watching them, right? The next group of people or person or people that you're going to watch, you want to that's on your level, you want to continue to watch them because what's going to happen is y'all going to feed off each other, right? You're going to that person might go up, you might be down a little bit, but somehow y'all keep doing this little seesaw thing, y'all doing this method, and then sometimes y'all right here together, then one may take off again, the other one may trail, but they're going to find themselves right back up point. Those are the ones that you are going to really gain a lot of knowledge from because y'all are now working off of each other. Okay. The next set of people or group or persons, however you want to break this up, is somebody that's far beyond where you're at. You want to watch them and study them, just like you studied the person that was beneath you. All right. When I say beneath, I'm talking about just wherever your status is, not as a person, because nobody ain't beneath nobody as a person. Okay. I'm talking about far as their knowledge and what they're doing in order to help their situation if y'all in the like-minded situation, such as YouTube. You have somebody who is in a lower level than you on YouTube. You have somebody that's doing the seesaw thing, and then you have another person or a group of people that is far beyond you, right? And the reason you do this is for that you can accomplish your goal. It's called friendly competition. You learn from the one that's up underneath you, so that way you don't make the same mistakes that they're making. You teeter totter because you grow with the person that's with you, right? And then the ones that are surpassed you, you use them to get to higher levels, okay? Because they done did what you're trying to do, and you're reaching for them, and you're looking at them and studying them and implying and implementing what you learned from them that is valid to help you get to where they are. So a little game that I like to do is what I do when I for this platform. I find a few people, in within my community that I attach myself to like a leech. I really do. I'm like I'm right here. Okay, I'm there. I'm there with you. And there's three groups of those people. There are people who are not where I'm at. There are people who are right where I'm at, and there are people who are far beyond me. And I'm learning from each one of these people. But the one I'm really focused on mainly is all three. Why? Because I don't want to do whatever this person is doing at the bottom. So I'm focused on all of them. I don't want to do what the person at the bottom is doing because they're not growing. They're not. Okay. The one who's with me, we sharing ideas with each other. We're helping. We're collaborating. We're talking to one. We're networking. We're working together. Okay, and we're helping each other build each other up. But while we're doing this, I'm now studying the people that are ahead of me, and I'm getting stuff that they the knowledge that they're teaching. But what I'm also doing is I'm finding smaller people that is leading up to that massive person I'm trying to catch up with, right? So, and I'm doing that not so much as I'm comparing, but I'm setting goals for myself. So for instance, when I first got started doing this, and this is something I naturally do without even realizing half of the time I'm doing it, but I know I'm doing it. Okay. Um, I found someone, I found plenty of people that was not where I was mentally and first business wise or whatever. But I'm not fin to not listen to them because I can learn from them, right? I found people where I was. I attached myself to them. We're learning, we're collaborating. They're like-minded people, and I'm working alongside with them, right? And then I found people where I wanted to be. I look at just like the social profile, and I'm telling you, I don't believe that crap, but I am looking at it in order to benefit me. If everybody else going to look at it, I'm going to use that information to benefit what I'm trying to do. Right. So I look at people who have more subscribers than myself, and I'm watching what they're doing, right? So I'm learning from them. I'm seeing whether or not it worked and whether or not it's not. But mentally, I'm keeping a mental note. Let's say when I was at 200 and I had somebody that was at 500. Well, my goal is to hit your 500, right? So I'm going to keep learning and doing until I get to that 500. Once I hit that 500, if I see you not teeter-tottering with me, then it's time for me to find somebody to pass your 500, because if I stay there, I'm going to be stuck at 500 right with you, right? So I'm looking for somebody else at this point. So now I see somebody who has 900. My goal is I'm gonna lock on to that person who has 900 or close enough to it. That way I can see what you're doing, implement what you're showing, it make it work for me on top of what I'm also learning myself. Make it work for me. And once I reach your 900, if you're not going like this with me, it's time for me to continue. I'll still talk with you, I'll still watch your videos, but it's time for me to go look elsewhere in order to gain the knowledge that I need. Okay. Um, when I see somebody at 1,000, okay, I'm locked in. You know, let me study this, okay? Because I'm trying to get there. And that's what each and every last one of us needs to be doing. Everybody, as new content creators, need to be connected with people that you're trying to reach their level at. So that way you can learn from what they're doing. Take what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. If they're doing something wrong, then just put it out to the side down with the other people that are getting stuck. Because if they can't get past the wrong information that even if you found out what's going on and you tell them and they're not willing to listen, okay, that's their right. That's their opinion. Let them do what they do. But what they're going to find out is they're going to stay stuck with the people that it was below you before you got to where they are if they're not willing to listen. So Stop being so much worried about what someone is saying, especially if all they're doing is just trying to knock you and ain't doing it themselves. Now, if they're trying to offer you good information, take that information and make it work for you. All right. But if all they're trying to do is knock you, they were never there for you to begin with. Now, if you're doing something that you ain't supposed to be doing and it's hurting the community as a whole and even yourself, and they're offering that advice to you, then be willing to take the constructive criticism to be a better person and to be a better business minded person and to have a better platform. Because in the end, that um, constructive criticism is going to work on your behalf. Right? So you got to know what to put in your head and what to throw out. Okay, you got to have goals that are set that you can obtain, and don't be like, oh, I'm gonna go for zero to 200 some $1,000 within a couple of months. You are setting yourself up for failure. You better take baby steps. I suggest if you're just starting out, write 0 to 100. Okay, let me attach myself to someone who has 100. Find out what they did so I can get there. Take out that other foolishness, dump it. Next goal, find somebody who's at 500. Okay, and do the little exercise that I showed you, and you will see that you're continuing to grow. Right, like right now, my goal is I'm following somebody right now very closely who was close to 1,100 subscribers. And I'm watching and I'm learning and I'm taking what they're doing right and I'm taking what they're doing wrong. And if I could see, that, hey, maybe they just don't know, I'll tell this information to them. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. But when I get there, if we ain't teeter tottering, it's time to move on. And I'm just being honest. When you are trying to grow your channel, you better keep moving, because if you don't keep moving, you're going to find yourself at some point. I don't care if you have 200,000 subscribers, you're going to find yourself stuck like the lower level, and you ain't going to see no more growth. So you have to continue um, growing, educating yourself, applying the knowledge to yourself, learning real information. And number 7, notice I have yet to say start recording, because your success really is based on your knowledge and understanding of what is going on. It ain't got absolutely nothing about you pushing no button and it being easy and just record. Because you can push a button all day long. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what it takes to keep you there, if you don't know the foundation that you need to be successful, well, you're just setting yourself up for failure. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching this video. I will be giving other um, mini series on how to make this thing truly work. I'm going to also break down that monetization, because y'all about to be surprised, y'all. Your girl has been up for the past 3-4 days looking at these smaller numbers, but I understand what's going on. When I tell you I understand, and so will you. I just have to present it in a way that people will be able to really understand exactly what's happening with this system. Okay, so as always, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. And toodles.